So welcome everyone to our first May One Woman Connected session. We do these sessions once or twice a month for a few different reasons. Number one, I just want to connect with everyone. And, we have women from around the world. Some I haven't seen or maybe even met in person. Some I haven't seen in a long time. Maybe you came to an event somewhere along the way or done something with us online or spoke at an event or whatever the case might be. So it's a place for us to be able to connect and to be able to see each other and then to learn, the stuff that's going on with One Woman. And I go into depth each session on our One Woman Empowered membership and the things that it includes. So today, the topic is going to be our One Woman business loans because they're new and improved. And I made some changes and have a new addition to that. So I'm going to start with maybe a few announcements of things that are coming up. And the other lovely lady that you see on the screen is Christina J. Christina is a One Woman Empowered member. And another thing that we do for these sessions is to be able to feature one of our members who talk on a topic of their expertise and be able to share what they do so that members get to know each other so that you can connect, you can collaborate, maybe you do business together, maybe it's somebody you need help from. These are all business members that belong to One Woman and are sharing with what they do. And that's what One Woman is. It's a massive networking organization. And so then you get to know all the amazing members that make up One Woman and to be able to get to know them better. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the things that's coming up with One Woman. And we have a busy May coming up because we have 2 events going on this month. Next weekend, we're in Ottawa, Ontario. So we've been doing a lot of events in the States, and this is our first Canadian event for this year. So we'll be in Ottawa on Saturday, May the 14th. All the speaking spaces are gone for that event, all filled up. But there's still a few tickets to be able to attend that event. So if you live in the Ottawa area and you want to attend, you can either go on the website or reach out to me and we'll make sure that we get you tickets to be able to attend a live event, because to me, nothing beats the energy of a live event and to be able to be in person, network, connect, have great conversations, listen to powerful speakers. There's such fun days. So the next one's coming up in Ottawa next weekend. And then we have one in Newark, New Jersey, the following Saturday, which is May 21st. That event is also completely filled with speakers, but there are still tickets to be able to come. So if you live in the New York, New Jersey area, along the East Coast and want to come, or if you want to come from anywhere, it doesn't matter. Maybe you want to spend a weekend and get away. It's a great time to be able to enjoy a One Woman event. So that one's coming up on the 21st. We also have events in June coming up, one in Boston on the 11th and one in Toronto on the 25th. Now, I believe each of those events have one speaking space left. I have a bunch of applications I still need to go through, but I know there is still a speaking space available. So if you're itching to get on a fearless stage and to be able to share your fearless story, you can still apply for those events. So those are the things that's going on right now. We've been busy with doing live events again, which we are so happy to be out and about and seeing all your beautiful smiling faces in person. The empowered memberships, as I mentioned, we've always had a regular basic membership. It's really what fuels One Woman and what we do to support our women's empowerment projects around the world. A lot of the work that we do in developing countries, whether that's helping women to start businesses or gain employment skills, or whether that's helping girls to be able to go to school. So we've always had that membership. The newest membership we added was our empowered membership, which we added in 2020, which really is our business membership that's meant to help women build and grow their business and to be able to tap into the powerful network, what is One Woman, to be able to advertise what you do, promote what you do, learn business and professional skills so that you can build and grow your business and learn how to do that. So there's lots of things that's included with our empowered membership, and it's almost so much that to cover it in one session, it winds up being almost overwhelming, or, you know, to learn about all the opportunities. So I'll post the link in the comments in terms of, you can look at all the things that's included in the Empowered membership. But a lot of women become Empowered members to be able to speak at events, to be able to teach through our One Woman Empowerment Academy, to be able to join our Speakers Bureau, and to have opportunities to have paid speaking engagements with a lot of the, you know, companies and organizations that we work with, opportunities to be able to advertise and promote your products and service to our almost 500,000 women that are part of One Woman, that follow us, that are part of our community. So it's a powerful network to be able to build and grow your business. So we have these sessions, we feature all of our members, and for you to be able to network and connect with each other, like I said, to collaborate, to do business together, and to find the help that you need, because we can't be an expert in everything that we do with our business. Sometimes we need some help with social media. Maybe we need a graphic designer. Maybe we need, you know, some help with our copy and our website, or any of those kind of things. I see Dava's online. She's a copywriter. She's a great person to help with copy if that's what you need help with. So it's getting to know what people's gifts and skills and talents are within our membership, so that we can, you know, find people that we know and trust, and that, you know, are part of One Woman that we can work with. So that's what these sessions are all about. The topic I wanted to talk about today for our Empowered membership is our business loans. So before, we had a partner for all of our business loans, which we still have. So the company is called ClearCo, and it's ran and operated by Michelle Romanoff. Now, if you're Canadian and you're watching, you'll recognize that name because she's a dragon on Dragon's Den here in Canada. If you're living in the States, which I know we have lots of ladies who are American on the call today, that's your equivalent to Shark Tank. So she's a young dragon. She's only, I think, about 36 or 37 years old, but she's built a multi-million-dollar empire. She started a company in her 20s, is when she started being an entrepreneur. She was going to school at a Canadian university, caught the entrepreneurial bug, had a coffee shop tea room on site at the campus, and then went on to start a caviar business on the east coast of Canada, and then got into the tech world and created a company that created like a coupon discount program that was sold to Groupon for 8 figures. Yes, 8 figures. So she became massively successful in the tech world. She does a lot of work in Silicon Valley, and actually created her own bank. So along with doing investments through Dragon's Den and, you know, being a venture capitalist, she actually created her own bank that invests in e-commerce businesses. So businesses that are, you know, online, building and growing successful businesses, using social media and all those platforms to become massively successful. A lot of the women that we work with have online businesses and have a big presence online. So it was a great partnership to have with Michelle. I got to meet her for the first time in 2016. And so we've done a few things together, but we were able to partner with her through One Woman to be able to fund our loans program. Now, the thing is that those loans run from $10,000 to $10 million. So, you know, there's probably not enough amount of money that, you know, they can't cover to be able to help you build and grow your business, but it's based on you inputting all of your information for your business and connecting it to all your basically payment systems, and they track what your business is doing to have a proven success rate to be able to establish your loan. And then also the terms of being able to pay it back. So it's really great for women's businesses that have already been running for a while, or that have been established and that have regular revenue generating and coming in, so that they qualify more easily. So they don't do things like credit and looking at, you know, your credit score and your assets and all that kind of stuff. It's all based on your proven business model that you get approved, and then they set all the terms and conditions of that to be able to recover their initial investment into it with, of course, some interest. And you can continue to loan from that as you build and grow your business. The problem is like I said, for startups, that can be a challenge. Like, hey, I just have this really great business idea, or I really want to get started and get off the ground, but I don't have anything that's proven. I don't have sales yet. So, or somebody who's been started and have been struggling with their business to kick things off and get things started and need some capital to be able to do that. So that was where I wanted to come in with creating an in-house loans program through One Woman that women can apply for to be able to have startup costs and to be able to get their big goals and dreams off the ground and to be able to get things rolling. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. So how do you set up a loans program, which is basically microfinancing for maybe a lower amount that women need just to get rolling? So the first tier of a loan is anywhere up to $5,000 that women can use to get their business up and rolling. Maybe you're using that to create a website. Maybe you're using that to do some social media marketing. Maybe you're using that to get your book published, whatever the case might be. It doesn't matter what you want to use the money for in your business. Whereas, like I said, through ClearCo, they're investing in your e-commerce and helping you to be able to market your business online. This here loan fund could be used for anything that you need to be able to build and grow your business, from the ground up. So the first tier of that loan goes up to $5,000. If you say, hey, I just need $2,000 or $2,500, you can apply for that. Now, just like ClearCo, we're not doing any kind of credit checks, sign away your first child, give us a list of all your assets, any of those kind of things, because that is the thing that women struggle with the most, is that even in 2022, if you went to a bank and said, hey, I need a $5,000 loan to get my business started, unless you had something that was collateral and proven and all these kind of things, surefire, foolproof business plan, dot all your I's, cross all your T's, all that kind of stuff, you may not still even get that loan. And so a lot of women we find are trying to build and grow or start their businesses on credit cards. And that's how most women have to start, is, using their credit card to be able to fund their big goals and dreams. And they're doing that at 26 to 29% interest, which can be really tough and challenging to build and grow their business. So what we created was a loans program that goes in increments that basically is, what you want to do. You fill out an application that basically says, what you want to create, what your plan is, what you want to do, the business that you want to create, and then it's approved by the membership. So it's not only approved by me, although I'm going to look over that application first and foremost. You would actually present it to our membership in one of these sessions, and you need at least 4 members who sign off and basically say, yes, you know what, we're her guarantee. Like, we believe in what this woman is doing, her big goals and dreams, and we are the ones who will step up and, help to say that we'll support her to approve it. Now, they're not funding it. That's coming from a main fund that I'm going to create out of my retirement fund. I've set aside $50,000 that I put aside just to be able to use for our loans fund. And it does have an interest rate attached to it. So for women's first loans, it's 15%, which is a lot less than a credit card, but still it's on a venture capitalist kind of angel investment interest rate for sure. But as you pay off that loan and apply for a second tier loan, that interest rate will come down to 12%. So you're probably paying about half of what you pay by using credit cards. And it helps us build and grow that loan fund so that, in the first year, if we have 10 ladies who loan $5,000 from that loan fund, next year we can help 20 or 30 or 40 or 100 or 1,000. And so that's kind of my goal behind that loans fund, is that we can grow it, we can build it, and we can help even more women create financial independence through entrepreneurship, to be able to build and grow their business, to have some breathing room and some capital to be able to do that. And a way that they can have a loan that isn't based on their credit rating, their credit score, what they have, their assets, their history, any of that kind of stuff. It goes by their integrity, their determination to make a business work, and, answering those questions within the membership so that they've thought through everything to be able to create a successful business and how they're going to monetize that. So that's who you're accountable at the end of the day, is your fellow members and women around the world who also know, the struggles, the challenges, the ups and the downs to creating a successful business. And so they're going to ask the questions, and we're going to open it up to that. And at the end of the day, that's who's going to approve it. And we've set it so that 4 ladies will sign off in terms of approving that, saying that, they're going to make sure that they're there for you every step of the way. So that's what I wanted to cover today. Now, you do have to be an empowered member to do that. A lot of ladies already are empowered members, and our empowered membership is a little more than our basic membership. So our basic membership is women who just want to support the work that we're doing to help do the work that we do in this world. Sending girls to school, helping women start businesses and gain employment skills in developing countries, a lot of that work that we do. Our empowered membership, like I said, is more the business membership that's helping you build and grow your business to become a marketing tool for you and all that stuff. So that membership is $97 a month, but for your first month, you get to try it for $39 and to be able to tap into all those wonderful benefits and things like that and make sure that it's for you. All of our memberships, you can cancel at any time. So if ever anything happens in your life and you say, I can't do this anymore, or it just doesn't work for me, or it's not my cup of tea, or whatever the case is, you're not locked into anything. You can cancel your membership at any time. So I wanted to open it up for questions. If anybody had any questions about One Woman, any of the upcoming things we have coming up, about our empowered membership, about our loans fund, before I introduce our keynote speaker for today. And I'm just going to post the link in the website this is our link for our membership, so that anybody who isn't an empowered member and wants to become one, it's got all the information on there as to what that membership includes. Any questions, ladies? I dropped off for a moment. How much are the loans? The loans, I'm actually glad you said that, because I didn't go into the tiers. So the first tier is anything up to $5,000. The second tier is anything up to $10,000. The third tier is anywhere up to $20,000. And after that, depending on what's in the bank at that time, we can create higher loans for women. But what I set aside out of my own personal savings was $50,000 to kick off the loans fund, so that hopefully we can help 10 ladies this year with $5,000 loans to get them rolling. And I'll share with you an amazing kind of story that at 21 years old, I think I've told the story maybe before, many of you maybe have heard it, is that I became an entrepreneur by accident, literally. I was 21 years old. I was rear-ended by a Dodge Caravan. I worked full-time for the Canadian federal government, and I no longer couldn't do that job full-time. And so I had to figure out what I could do, because I had just bought my first house. I had a mortgage and all the same bills that I had before, but I wasn't making the same income. The insurance company was paying a nominal amount because I was off work, and the financial stress kicked in. And I thought, well, how can I generate more income? How am I going to be able to pay my mortgage and all my bills that I had before? I'm one person on my own. I didn't have a rich husband or somebody I could go to just take care of things and help me out. So I thought, a girlfriend of mine said, why don't you start a business? And I thought, well, that's not a bad idea. Something I can do when I'm feeling well. I can control how much I do. But then it was like, to put out the money to get started. I started my very first business with a $500 loan when I was 21 years old. And I've created multiple businesses over the last 25 years, some of which have created million and multi-million dollar companies, some of which I've built and sold. It's how I became an entrepreneur. And it's the only thing that got me started was a $500 loan. So, take into account inflation, $500 doesn't get you much these days. It didn't get you much back then either. But $5,000 is usually enough to help women to kickstart their social media, or to get a website, or to create something that they're wanting to create to be able to monetize it. So those are the tiers right now. And as that loan fund grows from the interest and the payments that come back into it, we'll create bigger loans as women build and grow their business. The whole idea is to be able to have a fund that women can continue to grow and expand as their needs are there. But usually you then establish yourself as a successful business that then you can go to the bank and maybe get prime plus 2% or a line of credit or something to be able to, you know, do more with paying less interest. So that's the whole goal behind it. So how do we apply to be able to pitch our business idea? So our One Woman Empowered members can drop me an email anytime, as you know, and I'm creating an actual loan application for this. So it's not something that's going to be on the website because it's not available for people to just apply for. This is coming out of my blood, sweat, and tears, literally. It's coming out of my retirement fund to create this, and it's backed by the fellow members who are part of this. So if you're an empowered member, you always get an email from me when you first sign up that has a list of all the things and the links for all the things that you can be a part of with One Woman. Now I'm going to also attach the loan application so that you have it. Or you can drop an email to me that I can send you the loan application so that you can apply. And then we'll schedule a time for you to be able to present it to the membership. And then always make sure that you're making a conscious effort to get to know all the other empowered members that are part of One Woman. Do that through the One Woman Connected page, getting to know each of the speakers who come on here. At the end of the day, those are the ladies who's going to be approving your application. So of course, they're going to want to get to know you and your business and all that stuff. And it's also meant to be resources for us to be able to be successful in our business, to have other women to bounce ideas off and to be able to keep us going, because we know that sometimes things get hard, that it isn't always sunshine and roses. Often we want to throw in the towel or don't know how we're going to figure it out. And when we have support and encouragement and women cheering us on and who believe in us, it makes it so much more easier for us to be able to keep going and seeing, you know, a way out or a way to be able to do things, because you have women who are saying like, hey, have you thought of this? Or did you know this person exists? Or I know somebody who can help you. That all comes in the power of connection. It's how I built One Woman to 500,000 women, is I started building amazing relationships with women right around the world. And so that's got to always be our priority, is how we can connect and get to know people, get our word and message out there to build a successful business and to have that support and encouragement to be able to get from wherever we are to wherever we want to go. We're never meant to do this alone. So that was that question. Does anybody else have any other questions? No other questions, ladies? All right. Well, but I do still have to finish that loan application, although it shouldn't take me too long to get it finished. So I've slotted some time aside on Friday. That'll be all done. So if you drop me an email, I'll make sure I get you a copy of it. And if you're not already an empowered member, I posted the link in the chat. I'll post it one more time. And once you've signed up for your membership, you're going to get an email from me with everything that your membership includes. And at the end, it always says, once you've reviewed everything, if you have any questions or you want to go over anything, reach out to me and we can schedule a time to answer any questions that you have. I used to just automatically schedule a call and then realize that people haven't even went through half the email yet. So I always leave it in your court in terms of having enough time to go through everything, because it's a lot. And then once you've gone through everything and then write down all your questions, we can schedule, you know, a quick call to be able to answer any questions that you have. All right, we have a wonderful speaker today that I'm going to introduce. And speaking of wonderful members, Christina is a fabulous member. She's been a member and part of One Woman now for probably close to a year. She has a passion for speaking, and that's how she wound up as part of One Woman. She's a friend of a dear friend of mine, Maria, who's also in, Louisa, who's also in Florida. And talk about connections. Like, that's how Christina wound up here. Was, you know, Louisa has been a member for many years since we did the Miami event a few years back. And, you know, Christina has turned into this powerhouse speaker. She's passionate about what she does. She's a wonderful author, written amazing books, and she's came on tour. She's spoke at online world summits. She came on the Chicago event, so we finally got to meet in person. And she's also going to be speaking at the Boston event coming up. So you're going to get to hear from her as well today. So I'm going to introduce Christina and then she can take it away. So Christina J is a native to the North Shore of Boston, Massachusetts. She is a graduate from Tufts University, where she obtained her Bachelor of Science in Biology and Environmental Science. She also attended Salem State College, where she received her MBA. Christina has worked in a variety of careers, from teaching to pharmaceutical sales. Christina is currently a single mother to a beautiful teenage daughter, both residing in Naples, Florida. She has always been an advocate and support for women and children. Her latest endeavor is as an author. She published her debut book, The Conscious Divorce: 30 Principles to Help You Choose Yourself, in October of 2021. Christina is also a motivational speaker. So please welcome the amazing Christina J.
Thank you so much, Charla. Now I want to see if I can share my screen. I know I had trouble doing that last time, but I do want to see if I can get these files on here.
It should let you share it. I've been able to share.
Okay. One second. Sorry. Yeah, earlier we were having trouble with my volume, so I have the headset on as well. Let's see if that. Because the slides are funny. I love them. They definitely add to the talk. So let's see. Can you see them?
Nope, not yet.
No, huh?
No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download your PowerPoint right now, because I've got it for Boston.
Okay.
And let's see if we can do it that way. Teamwork makes the dream work. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So I'm going to have to advance them for you. So you can just tell me next slide when you're ready.
Okay, awesome. All right, so thank you, everyone. Sorry about that. Yes, I am an author, and I wrote the book, The Conscious Divorce, basically based on my own experience. And the goal of the book was to share what I had gone through and what I learned from that experience. And then this talk really came from pulling some of those key principles from that book and kind of displaying what it took for me to make it through this adversity, which happened to be divorce, to really figure out how to heal myself, and then to go on this journey to find my peace and happily ever after again. So this is the basis of this talk, but I do love being an author as well. I'm actually on a second book, has nothing to do with divorce, but being an author, I just want to put that plug in, a great way to share with the world, what you've experienced, and to hopefully help other people with your wisdom. So happily ever after. It can be your reality now. It really can. A lot of us think that happily ever after is a destination, that it's something we have to work towards. And we start very young, at a very early age, really, kind of molding our identity and deciding what it is that we have to do to pave this way to live a happy life. And I know I did that. I know a lot of us do, hoping that we will find this happily ever after. And what happened for myself was I found myself in a position where it was going to happen. I found this man who was very handsome, successful. We were in love. I had a great job at the time. We got married. We had a beautiful daughter, and we were living that life. I had a beautiful home. I lived in a great place. We had the vacations, the friends, everything that from the outside would look like a happily ever after. That's what I was living. And it was good for a while. It really was. But then at a certain point, what happened was we both looked at each other and said, we have all of this, but something's missing. What is missing? We both really felt that we weren't truly happy. There was this deep underlying sense of not feeling settled. So the logical conclusion was that we need to get back out there, that we weren't done, that there was more to obtain, more to gain, that we had to go ahead and move from a great neighborhood to one that had gold brick roads running through it. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was that type of chasing after this happily ever after. And then one day, I think the next slide you can do, Charlotte. There it is. This is the plaque my husband brought home for me. So here we are at the peak of our unhappiness in our marriage. And he brings home this plaque and it says, happiness is an inside job. Well, the first thing I thought of was, I think he's really blaming me for our unhappiness. And I also was looking at the plaque, actually thinking, you really need to investigate what this means because you're unhappy. So both of us were in this position of blaming each other for our unhappiness. You know why? Because God forbid it was us. We had worked so hard, both of us, to obtain this happily ever after. And we felt like we did everything correctly on this pursuit, for happiness. And if it wasn't working out, it had to be somebody else. That's why we're blaming each other. And then when you start blaming each other for something like this, the only thing that's going to happen when you're not happy as well is divorce. And that is what happened. So we found ourselves getting divorced after being together for about 20 years. And the divorce was a conscious divorce, which is where the book came from. And conscious divorce means a divorce executed with awareness, with consciousness, because you want to live your life, aware of what you're doing and what your decisions are, because they affect you. And so going through this conscious divorce, we took really a state of grace and compassion for all of us, because we were all going through this. It wasn't just myself or just him, it was my daughter, it was the whole family. And that's how we approached our divorce. But, it was difficult. It took me forever to leave my marriage and get divorced because I was so attached to everything in my life. As I said, we designed this happily ever after that wasn't working, but yet I just didn't want to abandon it because I worked so hard to build it. Everything in my life, the attachments of the people I knew, the homes, the material items, the roles I played, the position that we kind of had in society, all of it was designed by us and was supposed to equal happily ever after. And I was attached to it. So to let that go hurt a lot. And I think it's the next slide now, Charlotte. In my mind, I'm thinking, where are all these people who lived happily ever after? Sorry, because if we had all of that going on and we couldn't find it, then, who is living happily ever after? So we can go to the next slide. So what I found myself in was the middle of an identity crisis, because here I am leaving this situation where everything that I felt that defined me, I was losing. So who am I going to be after divorce? I mean, who was I now after everything I had designed in my life for the past 20 years was disappearing and changing? This quote I found, the only true happiness lies in knowing who you are. So I was laughing to myself thinking, well, first of all, my ex-husband now and I could not embody the idea of what true happiness was, or this inside happiness. We just couldn't figure it out. And now this quote's telling me that true happiness is connected to knowing who you are. Well, 2 strikes already, right? So I didn't know who I was. I'm going through an identity crisis. I didn't understand what happiness was, an inside job, what that really meant. I couldn't embody it. So I knew now what I was on, and that was a mission to figure this out. I knew now that I was on a journey to find out what was the truth of this happily ever after, and how does my identity connect to it? So you can go to the next slide, Charlotte. And what I found myself in was the University of Adversity. So it's an okay place to be, because whatever's going on in your life, you're not going to fight it. You have to deal with reality. And whatever it is, how you respond to it is going to dictate a lot of what your future is. So you want to go through hard times and hardships and adversities with awareness and consciousness, just like I went through the divorce with. And I learned a lot about myself, about life, a lot of the life principles that I wrote in the book, of course, they came through the University of Adversity. And the one thing I realized was that life is always trying to teach us. That's why life is a huge school, and we just have to listen. We have to listen to what life's trying to tell us in order to learn from it and do better next time. So I was on this adventure, and I knew I needed some sort of process, some sort of way to get to the answers that I was seeking. You can go to the next slide, Charlotte. And so the process I came up with was called CPR. Now CPR, it's a great analogy because CPR itself means to kind of resuscitate your heart, to breathe again, right? And to me, that was perfect because that's the sense that I had, that I need to figure out how to feel my life again, how to make a connection with myself and everything that's going on around me to feel happy. And so the acronym CPR in this case stands for Choose Yourself First, pass by fear, and then reveal inner happiness. So next slide. Thank you, Charlotte. Choose yourself first. So this is the most important step, because if you're not choosing yourself and getting in the driver's seat of your life, you're not going anywhere. You know, your life journey is your responsibility. So first you choose yourself, and it looks something like this. You look in the mirror, and I did this for my divorce, and you say, oh, I choose me, and I had to choose me in order to get divorced. And I have 3 A's on there. So it's like, but trust me, soon after you might be saying to yourself, oh, like, oh no, what did I do? Because choosing yourself first really is a proclamation to yourself. You're saying, I am now completely responsible for me. This is not a journey of going to the spa and being selfish. This is an inner journey where you're taking responsibility for your life. So the steps to this part are aware, accept, allow, and heal. Now for me, awareness is key. And I did this in my marriage, in my life. You have to be aware of what's going on in your life to actually do anything about it, right? You have to pay attention and have awareness for your situation. And so many of us run from our lives. We do, whether we want to admit it or not, because we stay busy, we overwork, we over socialize, we get on social media, we binge watch television, we do anything possible to not just sit and be and look at our lives. And so that's where the awareness comes in. You have to look at what's going on with yourself in your life in order to change anything. And when you do this, you look at the past, you know, you're aware of what has been going on, what's contributed to what's happening now, you're aware of the current situation, and you're aware of what you need to do to get to where you want to get. So awareness is key. The next step is acceptance. Oh, sorry. Acceptance is the step of empowerment, it really is. So when you accept everything in your life, you're saying, okay, I claim it, I own it, it's mine, I accept it. And that gives you power. That equals responsibility, and responsibility equals power. So when you accept things in your life, you're saying, it's all on me now. I'm taking complete responsibility for my thoughts, my beliefs, my actions, my choices, my happiness. I'm taking complete responsibility for everything in my life. I'm accepting whatever has happened that has got me here. I'm accepting right here, right now, and who I am because of what has happened. And I'm accepting whatever I need to do to get to the place that I want to be and to become that person and to live the life that I want to live, the life that I will love, if you're not loving your current life. So acceptance is huge, and it is the place of power. And when you accept, then you have to allow, though, because when you accept something, you're saying, yeah, I'm talking the talk, but can you walk the walk? Because allowing is where the action comes in. And so many of us may stop at accept because it's very scary, it's very fearful, and it takes a lot of courage to actually make changes in your life that will affect you and affect everyone. So allowing is when you actually allow the changes to take place. You're allowing what no longer needs to be in your life to go. That could be people, energy, behaviors of your own, situation, whatever it is that's not working for you, it needs to filter out. Allow whatever it is that needs to come in so that you can get to that place where you want to be, so that you can become the woman, the person you want to be, and live that life you want to live. You know, allowing is allowing yourself to forgive as well. You know, in my divorce, I had to forgive. I actually did not have to forgive my ex-husband as much as I thought I did, though. You know, who I need to forgive. I need to forgive myself. I need to allow myself forgiveness, because I needed to forgive myself for forgetting that this life journey was my responsibility. I had to forgive myself for giving away my own power in my life. Because when we're going through this process of choosing yourself, you're not a victim anymore. And I played a victim a lot. You're not blaming anyone for anything, because when you blame someone for something, you're giving away your power. You're basically saying, here you go, I'm gonna let you be responsible for this. But then again, I'm also giving you my power over it. So we don't wanna do that. We don't wanna be victims. We wanna be empowered and keep our responsibility, because that's where our power comes from. So allowing's key. And I had to forgive myself also for that moment where I actually believed that everything I was attached to in my life was me, that defined my worth. And that's why it took me so long to accept that I needed to leave and to actually get divorced. So this whole process is really a process of healing, the process of moving through the past, allowing and accepting what's happening now, and then making changes for the future. It's all healing. You can go to the next slide now, Charlotte.
Oops. There.
Thank you. So the next step after choosing yourself first is going to be to pass by fear, because again, choosing yourself takes courage. It's a transformative process, and the only thing that's going to stop you is fear. It stopped me from leaving and getting divorced for so long. Fear of the unknown. So we're going to learn how to pass by fear so that you can basically get to where you want to get to, which is that happily ever after. And this quote says, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." So let's look at fear and understand fear so that we can get past it. We can pass by it. So fear itself is actually an energy, right? It's a state of being. It's a feeling that we get in response to something. And usually it's in response to our own thoughts. Believe it or not, it is. We can fear and have fear in our system, which is an automatic response to something that is actually frightening, that will cause harm. But even just the thought of that could cause fear when actually nothing is happening. So thoughts are important. They can be empowering or disempowering. And I'm going to talk about thoughts for a minute and show you how they can really help you get by fear. So Eckhart Tolle, he is a philosopher. He has a concept called the power of now, which really impacted my life when I first discovered it years ago. And what it says is that there is no such thing as the past, really, and no such thing as the future. There's only right here, right now. So as human beings, the only moment that we can actually live is right here, right now. It's the power of right now. And the past is memory, and a lot of us drag the past with us. And that is basically suffering when you don't allow yourself to let go of what doesn't even exist anymore. The future never really arrives, because by the time we get to that future moment, we are experiencing it as the present moment. So planning for the future is great, but the worrying, the what if not, the fear of the unknown is unnecessary. So the power we have is right here, right now, to be aware. That's the awareness, to have presence in our life. Thank you. To have awareness and presence in our life, and to actually make decisions and choices that are good for us right here, right now, that will affect the future. So that's the power of now. So if we have the ability to be more focused on our thoughts and aware of how they're affecting our fear, does that mean we also can maneuver past fear? And I think so. So if you can control your thoughts, you can basically control some of this fear. And that's what I had learned for myself. And it's a powerful tool. We can go to the next slide now, Charlotte. So once you learn how to pass by fear, you are headed towards understanding this happily ever after, this true happiness. The Dalai Lama states human happiness and human satisfaction ultimately come from within oneself. Yes, and it's the whole theme of within. So back to the plaque that my ex-husband had brought, and it stated happiness is an inside job. Well, this whole idea of everything coming from within is wonderful, but we, my husband and I at the time, could not embody it. We just couldn't feel it. To know something and feel something is different. So what were my husband and I at the time living? We were living happiness as an outside job. And that's what most of us are living. Most of us are gaining our happiness from things outside of us. And that's okay, because that's what most of us do, right? It's just logical. We go on vacation. We have successes and accomplishments. We have goals. We buy things. We attain things. We accumulate more and more. We hang out with people that bring us joy. All these things outside of ourselves will bring us happiness, but they're conditional. So what does that mean? That means you need more of it to stay happy. So the key is that this quote, and happiness is an inside job, they are referring to the fact that within you already is the key to happiness. It's this deep joy. And I had this moment of feeling this connection to myself. So when I had that moment of everything leaving in my divorce and feeling detached from it all, I was blessed enough to actually feel a moment of connection to my true self, my inner self, the part of me that was constant and did not change amongst all the changes. And so when I had that moment, I realized that's what they meant, the plaque meant. That's what the Dalai Lama is saying about understanding this happiness from within yourself. It does relate to identity. It's the idea that it's your authentic self. It's the true you. And when you understand this part of yourself, when you're connected to it, your automatic default state is joy and happiness. And you can go to the next slide, Charlotte. Oh, happily ever after. After what? The next slide, actually. But yes, after what exactly? It's not after a destination. It's not after accumulating. It's only after knowing thyself. That's true happily ever after. And what I learned through my divorce and everything else was that if you can build your life from this foundation, which is what I'm doing now, of knowing yourself and being connected to the truth of who you are, that you're enough without anything, that you are whole and complete, then you can add all of the outside happiness that you desire. And that's amazing. And when you do that, you're adding it in addition to everything, not as a condition of your happiness. And that is the difference. And so that's what I learned. And you know, that's what I've been spreading this knowledge, this wisdom that I gained from my divorce. And it was like the silver lining of the whole thing. And most adversities do have a silver lining. And so this was mine. And thank you for letting me share that today. So, thank you.
Thank you, Christina. That was fantastic. So, Christina, do you have maybe your website or email or any links that you want to share with the ladies as to how they would get a hold of you? If there's anything that resonated with them today that they want to chat with you more, learn more about what you do, connect with you, have a Zoom chat and a coffee, you know, that's how you get to know each other. And, you know, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, you know, reach out, connect with each other and get to know each other better. You never know what synergies and things might line up to do things together for sure. So does anybody have any questions at all for Christina or any final questions regarding One Woman? As Christina was talking, I thought of one thing that I forgot about the loans program, which was the term of the loan. So we have terms up to 3 years is what we're doing, so that you have some flexibility for paying that loan back. So it's a little bit more flexible that way, that if women want to pay it off early, there's no penalty to pay it off early. And if you're doing really great and you're like, look, I don't want to be paying this extra interest, of course you can pay it off early. And if women just want a 1 or 2 year term on their loan to pay it back, that's fine, but it can go all the way up to 36 months or 3 years to be able to pay your loan back. So I just wanted to mention that as well, because I forgot to talk about that.
Awesome.
Yes, awesome, ladies. Well, if nobody has any final questions at all, we'll wrap things up for today. We have another session coming up in about 2 weeks. I think it's actually on a Monday next time. I think it's on the 16th. So if you want to mark your calendar, we have another empowered member that's going to be speaking at that event. And I'm not sure what our topic's going to be yet. So stay tuned and keep an eye on the One Woman Connected page. If you're not on it yet, it's a Facebook group page. And that's how you stay in the loop with everything One Woman that's going on. So I look forward to seeing everyone soon. I want to say thank you to Christina for sharing with us today. And, you know, if you're going through something challenging, whether that's a divorce or making any kind of changes in your life, definitely all the things that Christina talked about today applies to a lot of things that we do and our perspective in terms of getting through these things and being able to see, you know, the gifts in those and to be conscious in all those and aware and going through that process. So everybody have a fantastic day. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye, everyone.